Hey buddy, watch this.
Hello, hello, Regis Kilbin is the name, and Heroes of the Storm is the game, and these are my first impressions of Lucio. Now, usually I hit these heroes and take a first look at them right when they come out. I'm a little bit behind the curve on Lucio, so he's actually already been live for a little while, but I still want to get a feel for this guy and take a look at his abilities for consistency's sake more than anything else. I'm not sure this video will be particularly useful to a lot of people, but I have done every other hero so far, so I want to make sure I get to Lucio as well. So first things first, he is a support character, and let's set his level to 20 to make sure that we see his stats and everything at a consistent equal level. So 3180 health, pretty low, even for a support hero. But let's go ahead and look at his trait, Wall Ride. When moving alongside an impassable battleground terrain and structures, Lucio can walk through other units, and his movement speed is increased by 20%. This works together with other movement speed bonuses. So, yeah, so I don't exactly get a feel. Oh, I guess as long as you're there and you right click, you just keep wall riding, right? And that makes him impassable, so you can't body block Lucio when he's trying to escape. And as you can see, we're also moving faster. It feels a little awkward, like as far as the spacing between you and the wall is considered, but I think it's pretty easy to get the hang of, I'm sure. Already feels that way. But yeah, a 20% movement speed boost like that, that's going to be fairly consistent, is really nice. It's funny that he can even do it on the trees. Like, I don't know how he's wall riding trees, but I'll take it. I'll take it. So yeah, that's a neat little trait. The body block thing shouldn't be underestimated either. It's going to give you an ability to get in or out with ease in a lot of different scenarios. So his Q is called Soundwave. Deal 246 damage to enemies in an area and knock them back. That's like his little boop in Overwatch. Not a ton of damage, but a knockback like that is going to be fantastic for encroaching. Oh yeah, that's a nice knockback too. But encroaching enemy teams or positioning people where you want them, moving them into effects like ETC's Mosh Pit, for instance, it's going to be pretty fantastic. W is Crossfade, currently playing Speed Boost, increasing movement speed of Lucio and nearby ally heroes by 15%. If I press W, it's going to go into a healing boost instead. And I think, are those colors the same as Overwatch? I guess they are, but different than HOTS. Usually green is healing, but that's fine. So you can see we've got little green trails behind us here. We've got little heal bubbles around us, and I guess that's going to be his primary healing output, it looks like. 52 health per second. I don't really know how that compares to Brightwing, but I've heard that Lucio is more than enough healing, and in fact his win rate's pretty outstanding, so he's clearly in a good spot when it comes to numbers. There's also Amp It Up. This raises Lucio's crossfade track volume for 3 seconds, amping healing boost to 271 health per second and speed boost to 45% increased movement speed. That's insane. Moves really fast with that. I don't even have it on right now. Let's toggle cooldowns. See what this looks like. Oh yeah, that's really fast movement. Helping your team get in and out, and then of course extra healing throughput if you need it as well. Can't go wrong there. So, oh, this is the number of allies in range. That's pretty cool. This is your wall ride duration. I guess it can only last so long, maybe? Not sure what exactly this is a metric of. No, it seems to last infinitely long. I don't know. Maybe it times out eventually. But for talents, I'm actually not going to go through all of these since Lucio has already been out together here. I've got a list of the most popular and the most popular and powerful talents of Lucio. So we know what's good already because he's been out, like I said, and I looked this up. So even though I'm not familiar with these, I just want to go through and hit the highlights to make this video as efficient as possible. So on level 1, it seems like We Move Together is the most popular talent. Increase the base movement speed bonus of Crossfade's speed boost to 20%, and currently it's 15. So that doesn't seem like much. I'm curious that it's stronger than these. I did see that the win rates on Accelerando and Slip, I believe, are both higher than We Move Together, but still We Move Together is very high, so it's a marginal thing. It seems like these were sort of niche talent picks that some people picked just because they liked these particular effects. But We Move Together seems like the best option here. And then for level 4, Chase the Base is the number 1 pick. After you hit 20 enemies with Soundwave, it increases Soundwave's arc by 50% and its range by 20%. And this is a fantastic ability, I'm sure. It just seems so powerful. Knockbacks are so good in a lot of different ways. And making the arc bigger and the range bigger just means you're going to be able to hit people and knock them back even farther from farther away. So I can understand why that's so darn fantastic. Subwoofer also had some picks, but not quite as popular as Chase the Base. Enemies hit within the first half of Soundwave's range are knocked back 50% farther. That's interesting, but that's going to require you to be in a really tight range to people, which I don't think is going to be a healthy behavior. And, you know, he is a ranged attacker, so it seems to me like that's going to be a pretty risky style of play. Even though he's mobile, can get in and out and stuff, I'm not really sure I like that. So Chase the Base it is. Moving on to 7, Party Mix is the talent of choice here. Play Lucio's crossfade tracks to nearby allies for a total of 8 minutes. So that's the quest if you get to 8 minutes. Multiple allies provide additional time. So, you know, if you're playing it to 3 guys for 10 seconds, that counts as 30 seconds. So getting to 8 minutes here really shouldn't be that hard when average matches are 15 to 20 minutes. And you're going to be healing multiple people often. So that'll add up pretty fast. Probably halfway through a match, I'm guessing. And that permanently increases the range by 20%. And, you know, range is nice. That means more people are in the effect, which is always good. And they can go off and venture and do their own sort of things and still get healed by you. And if you get in trouble, you can back out a little bit and still keep your team topped off. Moving on to 10, there's obviously 2 heroic abilities here. The popular one is Sound Barrier. 80-second cooldown, 100 mana. After 1 second, Lucio and nearby allied heroes gain a 3,000 point shield that rapidly decays over 6 seconds. So that's just like his Sound Barrier in Overwatch. He probably, I'm even guessing, jumps up into the air. Yep, throws it down and gives a big shield. So that's a really, really big shield. It's kind of like Storm Shield at level 20 for a lot of heroes, but it is his heroic instead, and I'm sure it's a little bigger. So that's good. That's obviously a fantastic talent choice for support heroes. So at the History of Heroes of the Storm, and this is a better version on command here for Lucio at level 10 instead of level 20. So you can imagine how much better it is and how much sooner it gets that much better. So organized teams obviously can take huge advantage of that. There's also Reverse Amp. This one's not quite as popular, but you blast Lucio's crossfade track at enemy heroes for 4 seconds. Causing healing boost to inflict 246 damage per second, and speed boost to slow them down. So it takes your W's and flips them and does the opposite to the enemy team. There's also a nice passive effect there, increases the duration of 4 seconds. Right now it's just 3 seconds, so 25% increase. I can understand why that's not as good. Like, you don't necessarily need to do damage or CC the enemy team that significantly. You have other heroes on your team to do that. So Sound Barrier helps you do what you do best, which is supporting your team. So it makes sense that that's the most popular. Moving on to 13, Back in the Mix is the most popular here. Upon entering a stun, a silence, or a time stop effect, you heal for 570 health. This cannot happen more than once every 10 seconds. So that's interesting. It sort of preserves Lucio's style of play because he's all about mobility and getting in and out and running around or skating around, I guess. And you don't want to get locked down by stuns or silences because that really hampers your playstyle. So this is something that helps keep you alive through that and make sure that people aren't stun locking you to death and gives you a counter to that to some way. I mean, 570 is not a lot. I'm surprised this talent is so popular. I'm curious what's so bad here. Yeah, armor while wall riding doesn't sound that good. While wall ride's movement speed bonus is active, immune to slow and root effects, so wall riding makes you immune. That doesn't sound that good. After switching crossfade tracks, if the next song plays for at least 1.5 seconds, Lucio gains a 219 point shield. That's just such a small shield that I'm sure it just chips away, and that's not considered significant. So, it's sort of surprising to me. I don't think I would have liked Back in the Mix upon seeing this initially, but clearly that is the most popular talent, and it's doing work. So moving on to 16, we've got Rejuvenescencia. Man, I do not speak Portuguese, so I'm not sure how that's pronounced. But while Amp It Up is active, Crossfade's healing boost heals for an additional 3% of the target's health each second. That's crazy. 3% of a target's health, particularly on like tanks that have huge health pools. That means every 3 seconds you're healing them for 10% on top of what you're already doing. So that's nuts. That's really, really, really good. I can see why that's so popular. These other talents, I think some of these were relatively popular at this tier, but this one took the title for most selected. Yeah, so like this one, if you're in a larger group, then healing boost gets 40% stronger. I'm not sure that'd be better than 3% though, just depending on your composition, how many tanks you had, and so on and so forth. Basic attacks lower Amp It Up's cooldown. I can see why that would be good too. Sound Wave blinds enemies. Against certain compositions, I'm sure that works really, really well because you're going to have that big cone hitting people, which could be really good because, you know, if they're auto attackers, that's just going to totally shut down their team. Moving on to 20, Bossa Nova was the #1 choice here. Reduce the cooldown of Sound Barrier to 30 seconds, but the shield now decays over 4 seconds. So right now it's 80 seconds, but it lasts for 6 seconds. Here you take it from, so you drop 50 seconds off the cooldown, which is totally insane. But the shield's not quite as durable. I guess that works for people. I mean, shields are all about reducing that instant damage, like when you know something big's about to happen, something crazy's happening, or somebody's taking damage, you're just trying to save their life. You don't need the shield to last for 6 seconds necessarily. Typically what happens if you throw a big shield on somebody, the enemy team will essentially disengage from that person or find something else to do. They're not just going to burn through a shield that they know is going to time out anyway. So it makes sense that you don't need that effect to last forever. It buys you enough time to heal people up, recover, move, do something else significant. So being able to affect play instantly every 30 seconds is more important than that slightly extra durability every 80 seconds. That's just a long time. So makes a lot of sense there. Although I will say that bonus track was also relatively popular on this tier. I think swapping crossfade tracks while Amp It Up is active will set Amp It Up back to its max duration. So in other words, you can get like a 2.5 second speed boost and then switch it, and you'll get a 3 second heal boost as well. So you can increase the duration of those theoretically, I guess, to like 5.99 seconds, as long as you time it perfectly. I don't know what the limit is, but that's pretty cool. So Bossa Nova here for the final tier. So the most popular build it looked like for Lucio to me was We Move Together, Chase the Base, Party Mix, Sound Barrier, Back in the Mix, Rejuvenescencia, and Bossa Nova. And there you go. And this is a fantastic hero. I love support, and I'm sad that I haven't had a chance to play Lucio just yet. Way behind the curve. But I certainly will as soon as I play more heroes. This guy's going to be awesome for me. He's my favorite character in Overwatch. Love support as a role in Heroes of the Storm. I love aura effects for healing, like Brightwing in particular. I love mobile characters. This guy has everything I want. Plus his win rate is stupidly good right now. He's like the second best character in the game in Hero League by win rate across all tiers. So Lucio is the kind of guy I absolutely have to start playing, and I recommend you guys give him a shot as well. But until then, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, game on.